Hey everyone, how's it going? So today I am headed on my second Connecticut Town Tour. I'm heading to Ansonia, Connecticut, which is a town along the Naugatuck River. So check it out. Hey everyone, how's it going? So right now, my first stop here in Ansonia, Connecticut, I'm at the Naugatuck River the Greenway Trail along the Naugatuck River. This is going to be about a half-mile walk. I'm going to try to catch some trains going over. There's a really cool bridge that goes over the Naugatuck River, train bridge. So I'm going to see if I can check that out, get a train. Of course, right? What else would I be doing? This is the Naugatuck River. I am in what's called the Naugatuck River Valley, which is a stretch of towns along the river here, Derby, Ansonia, and others. So I did a prior video where I went along this trail, along the other way, actually in the other direction in Derby. It's going to be a future video in Derby. Today's video will be Ansonia. So Ansonia is a town of about 19,000 people, comprises about 6.9 square miles, and has some really cool Revolutionary War history. So I'm going to be checking out the Ansonia Opera House, which is the oldest opera house in the state. Let's see, where else will I be going? There's a nature center, some trails. I'm going to check out a train over here hopefully soon. And there's an old house of a former colonel in the Revolutionary War. I think it was built in the 1600s. So lots of stuff to see here. So I hope you enjoy. Follow me for more. The town of Ansonia was incorporated in 1844 and is known as the Copper City for its manufacturing of heavy machinery and brass. There was also some significant flood damage that happened here in 1955 from Hurricane Diane. And I'm going to be showing you in a second the spot that was flooded out really bad. It's currently where the Target store is. So I'd like to thank everyone for sticking around. I know it's been a couple of months since my last video. My last video was in Andover, in the first of the Connecticut Town Tour. That was in the snow at about 25 degrees. So the conditions today, we are near the end of March, almost in April. It's March 30th today. Temperature should be about 65 degrees. It was supposed to be overcast today, but got some sunshine so far, so that's good. Here's the Naugatuck River. This trail goes all along the river, and it's a nice, easy, paved path. So if you have any issues with stability and want an easier walk, it's pretty level and paved and wide, so you can actually bike on this as well. And I do think, yeah, dogs are allowed as well, so you can take your dog on a leash and go for a nice stroll. I chose this trail as the first stop because, as many of you know, I'm a train lover. So anytime there's an opportunity to see a train, I'm going to be there, as well as train history or train remnants, old rails, abandoned rails, all that stuff. That's all me. There's a really cool building here in the distance. It's pretty cool. Trains should come through here every 1 to 2 hours, I think I hear one coming. So hopefully I'll get there in time. And there's the train. Going through the awesome bridge. Metro North. Darn it, I wanted to get closer. I've never, well, with the exception of the time I walked on the train bridge with the train at the Hoosick Tunnel, don't really get to see a train go through a bridge too often, or over a bridge rather. This is a really nice old iron bridge here on the trail, so we're gonna get a good look at it now. Hopefully that came out in the video, because I really don't feel like waiting another 2 hours for another one. It looks like that was a Metro North Railroad train, commuter train. I believe it goes to Waterbury. There might be another one that goes to New York. See, it would have been really nice if I was on the bridge when that train went through. I can't win them all. I can still hear it. Oh wait, we got another one. Wait, is there another one coming? There might be another one coming in this direction, which would be really a best case scenario for me that just missed the other one. We'll see. Be right back. All right, sweet. Ooh, I couldn't have timed that any better. So I was bummed that I missed the last time the train going over the bridge, but this time I have another one coming from the opposite direction. I'm gonna check this one going through the bridge, over the bridge, and through the woods to grandmother's house. Here we go. Another Metro North commuter train going over the Naugatuck River through a really cool old iron bridge. And there it goes. I really am like a little kid with these trains, but that was awesome. Got to see two trains going over the river in a matter of 2 minutes. That was pretty cool. And this is where the path actually starts. It's called the Copper City Pass here in Ansonia. So here we are, Naugatuck Greenway Trail. So they're literally telling you because, quite frankly, I hate to say it, but society is freaking stupid. But uh, because it's asphalt, they're letting you know that your dog's paws will get burned if you walk them on this trail. So, those of us that have a brain will know better. But just thought I found that kind of funny that they would put that on here, and then they even give you some bags to clean up your dog's poop, since people can't even be trusted to clean up their own dog's poop. So that's where we are here, 2026. Gotta love it. But anyway, to try to keep things on a positive note, I'm now going to walk back the half a mile that I walked to this bridge and go back to my car and check out the next destination, which I'm not even sure what that's going to be yet. But anybody who's a train lover, if you come down to the start of this trail in Ansonia, there's a bridge, a pedestrian bridge right here that I'm walking through that gives you the perfect opportunity to see trains going by. So it's a good spot to train watch if that's what you like to do. Now, I mentioned earlier that Hurricane Diane came through here in Connecticut in 1955 and really did a lot of damage, particularly with flooding. So that's the Target store across the river, and that area was flooded out really, really bad. Obviously, well before Target was there, and that whole area was flooded out. But you can see some of the remnants of the industrial manufacturing that was done here. If you look at these right here, it's pretty cool. And the architecture in this town is really nice. I believe the library in town was built in the 1800s, early to mid 1800s. So that has some really good architecture to check out. I might head there today. I'm not sure yet. Let's see how much time I have. Let's see how efficient I can be. So far I'm very efficient. I didn't have to wait at all for any of those trains. I was ready to wait up to a couple hours. So I'm glad that didn't have to happen. So yeah, it's a nice little area here. All right, so this house right here is a historic house in Ansonia, built in 1698. It was the birthplace of Colonel David Humphreys, he was an aide to George Washington. Wow, this is an old house built in 1698. All right, that's it for this one. On to the next. Okay, so I noticed that right across the street from the house I was just checking out, the historic house built in 1698, I also noticed that there was a cemetery across the street, and I always like to check out cemeteries to see if there's anybody famous laid to rest there, or if there's any kind of significance to the area, which there usually is. So what I found out was that there is a reverend who is buried in this church, who served at a church in Derby for 73 consecutive years. I'll explain more about the history in a separate voiceover that I do, but I kind of wasn't prepared for this, so I'm gonna show the grave now, and yeah, let's find this grave. This is the Elm Street Cemetery in Ansonia, Connecticut, and as you can probably guess, it's on Elm Street, so hopefully no nightmares here. That's a movie reference for all you movie buffs out there. Let's see what we have here. They said it's a prominent grave. This reverend who's laid to rest here there's a prominent grave that used to be at the altar of where a former church was. So let's see if I can find this. There's a lot of graves from the 1700s in this cemetery. Let's take a walk towards the back here. It's a big one right here. Hotchkiss, 1888. Wow, it's a pretty big monolith there. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. This is a very nice looking. Look at this one. A beautiful marker with a cross on the top. But that's not the one I'm looking for either. Maybe it's this big one here. Nope. Perhaps it's this really big one right here. Let's see. No. That's a nice one though. I'm gonna go walk around and find it and then come back once I found it. Okay, here it is. The final resting place of Reverend Richard Mansfield. So he was ordained in London in 1748 and was the rector of St. James Church in Derby for 72 years. And he died on April 12th, 1820 at a very remarkable 96 years old. Imagine living to 96 years old in the 17 and 1800s when life was really not as many convenient modern technology devices to help you along the way, like less advances in modern medicine, I'll put it that way. He was a good man and full of the Holy Ghost and of faith, and much people was added unto the Lord. Acts 24. Wow. XL 24. I don't know Roman numerals, but. And this must have been his wife, Elizabeth Mansfield, who died in 1826, about 6 years after he passed. Oh no, I'm mistaken. This was his wife, Anna Hall, who died August 20th in 1776. Wow. Asleep in Jesus. I really like old cemeteries and history. So that was something unplanned that I figured I would check out while I was here. So the house right there across the street is the famous house of the colonel, the Revolutionary War colonel that I was telling you about. And then here it is across the street, a really old New England cemetery with a reverend who died in 1820. Wow. All right. My next stop is the Ansonia Nature and Recreation Center. So it's a huge park with 149 acres with hiking trails and I believe a building with some animals that the kids can pet. I don't know. I'm going to check that out in a second. But I am here, so let me just show you around. So one of the first things I see here is a little display here with some information on what vernal pools are, what kinds of insects and creatures, frogs and such that you'll see here. Looks like we're near a gun range somewhere. I can hear some shots being fired. At least that's what I assume that is. I just had my arm torn up by a pricker bush. Nice. So here's the parking lot. This is located, I believe, on Deerfield Lane in Ansonia. Oh yeah, a little informational piece on the history of the Ansonia Nature Center. Looks like it's an area that was inhabited by the Native Americans, the Paugasset tribe, part of the Algonquin people. This is where they hunted, fished, and gathered, and did some farming over here. Pretty interesting. Let's see what's over here. Looks like we have a playground over here. Yep. Soccer fields, baseball fields. Very cool. Let's see what's in this building over here. Might be hard to see, but there's a map here with all the different trails that are available. Wow, this place is really cool. There is a little nature center inside here with all kinds of cool stuff to check out. Some owl feathers on display. What's in here? This is really cool. If you got young kids, this would be so awesome to take them to. Whole section on owls. Wow. Oh yeah, there's an owl right there. That is so cool. He's got that "don't look at me, don't leave me alone" vibe. Wow, that is so cool. Different rocks. A big stuffed turkey. And then we have, what's this? Whoa. Little area where you can watch birds. This is really neat. This is really nice. Different tracks and what they mean, or what they're from, rather. Wow. And the stonework is really nice in here. Look at the walls. Well, they've got a live honey bee hive here. Wow, that's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever been that close to a hive before. Or I'm safe. We got a bird in here. His name is Chuckles. He's a ring-necked dove. Hi, Chuckles. Chuckles is not amused, but wow. I'm really impressed with the stonework in here. Wow. Nice little picture of Chuckles right there. Look, there's a bunny rabbit. Wow. This is what a bobcat looks like. I just saw one in my backyard. There's lots of bobcats in Connecticut. What happened to the fox? Oh, there he is. Actually, that's not a bobcat. What am I talking about? That's a bobcat. That's a coyote. That looks like a raccoon. Maybe. Whole table. Oh, hey there, guy. Hey there. Here's some turtles. His name is Quincy. Hey, Quincy. King snake. Oh, you see the turtle? Look. Look at the turtle. Look at the turtle. That's his food. That's his lunch. What's his snake? Okay, that was really cool. That was really awesome. Basically, that's like a miniature zoo, really. Free admission. Take your kids here. I think it's open. I'm not sure the hours. I think it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. I think. Let me just take a quick look here. I grabbed the pamphlet on the way out, but man, they had some cool stuff there. Snakes, turtles, rabbits. Man, that was awesome. So if you want somewhere to go that's free and fun, check out the Ansonia Nature and Recreation Center in Ansonia, Connecticut. You can go on a hike. You can check out some really cool animals in the enclosures, and some that you probably don't want to touch, like the python that was in there. Too bad the python, I couldn't get the python to come out of his little house there, but I wasn't about to. Well, actually, whatever. That was a lot of fun. That was actually much better than I thought it was going to be. On to the next thing. Okay, so there's a famous story relating to the Revolutionary War, and it has to do with pork. Yeah, like the food. So I'm going to attempt to check this out right now. It's kind of in a weird spot on the main road. It's in front of an old convenience store, but it's a spot where when the British were invading Derby, which is what Ansonia used to be part of, they were trying to find the military stockpiles of pork that were in town. So there's a funny story behind it that I'll share in a future segment. But I just wanted to show you there's a granite marker in front of where the actual building was, which is now a market right here in Ansonia. So I'm gonna show you this now. Okay, I'm on Wakely Ave in Ansonia at the location of the Pork Hollow. There's actually a street called Pork Hollow, and there's a marker right over here that I'm gonna try to show you here without getting hit by a car. So here it is. All right. This is the store, Wakely Market, right here. And this is in Ansonia. So that was the spot where people were heard yelling, "The British are coming! The British are coming! Watch out for your pork!" or something along those lines. Look out for your pork. That's just I found that very funny, so I thought I'd share it. Apparently, pork was a hot commodity back then in this area. So anyway, last place I'm going to check out on this trip to Ansonia is it's going to be Main Street. I'm going to take a drive down Main Street. So here we are near Main Street in Ansonia. Looks like we got a lot of abandoned buildings. Alright, here we go. Down Main Street. This is Main Street right here in Ansonia. Some stores, restaurants. You gotta be very careful here because I'm probably not supposed to be doing this while driving. Fuck it.
Thank you.
There's the city hall. That's the post office. There's the city hall. Missed it. Hey, I wanted to thank everyone for checking out my Ansonia, Connecticut video. If you think there's anything I may have missed, please let me know in the comments and I can do a follow-up video. Thanks for watching.